Repeat the question.
So this question is Maya is Shuddha Sattva. When Brahman gets reflect in that, it becomes Ishvara. Ishvara. That is the question, right? What you call as the world or creation is a combination of three gunas: Sattva guna, Rajo guna, Tamo guna. It's a mix of three gunas. When the gunas are in balance, there is no creation. The Sattva guna, Rajo guna, Tamo guna are in the balance, are completely in balance. There is no creation. So there is nothing. There is no creation. When the balance gets disturbed, then there is a creation. So this balance gets disturbed, then the first manifestation of that is pure sattva, what we call as Mahat Tattva. Mahat Tattva, the intelligence principle. So the Mahat Tattva, or the intelligence principle, which is all, is the first manifest principle, first creation, first level of existence. So the Brahman or pure consciousness, right? Pure consciousness, Brahman, pure consciousness. In a Brahman, when the Brahman or pure consciousness gets reflected in Sattva, so Shuddha Sattva, that gets energized as intelligence. So that intelligence is actually is Ishvara, the first level of manifestation. In that level, there is no Maya. In reality, there is no Maya, because Ishvara is not bound by Maya, but Ishvara controls Maya. So the Brahman reflected in Sattva Guna is called Ishvara. And because there is a reflection of the consciousness in Sattva Guna, the identification of the reflection leads to what you call Ishvara, or the Lord of creation. So who is responsible for the creation of the entire universe. From that, there's a next level proceeds, where various concepts, various ideas, various living beings, non-living beings are created. Ishvara is not bound by creation, but Ishvara is a part of, Ishvara is not bound by Maya, but Ishvara is the first level of reflection of Brahman in Sattva Guna, which is Maya.
So, when you say Ishvara controls Maya,
Ishvara controls the creation. Ishvara is in control of the Maya, which is in sense from Sattva Guna and Rajo Guna, Tamo Guna, he is able to create, that consciousness is able to create variety of objects and beings.
But it is just a reflection, right? So
reflection is like this. The nervous system is a fine matter, okay, but nervous system is where consciousness is reflected. That's why it becomes alive. Without nervous system, we cannot live. The nervous system reflects the consciousness as mind, practically, right? So the matter, the first principle, the first evolutes of the matter is Sattva Guna. So that reflects and becomes enlivened by the consciousness. So let us, the consciousness per se, there is no connection with the world or nothing. It is just there. So when the nervous system, the consciousness gets reflected in the nervous system becomes alive. Then you are able to perceive this whole multiple the universe, right? You know what happened in the nervous system? There's a reflection of consciousness which made it alive, and that aliveness is what made you to see this world.
So control means it's not control, it is just control means it's not like
What?
when you say Ishvara controls Maya, it's not actually control. It's like it is just giving it life or something.
Yeah, the thing is, it's like you can think it as a like the fundamental matter, universal intelligence, yeah, gray matter, fundamental gray matter of the universe. So that when matter becomes alive, then he is able to conceptualize, visualize multiple things and create objects. Whatever is object visualized, that object will take a shape.
So Maya is doing all the work, right? And it is getting energy from consciousness. Okay. So, what does Ishvara mean by?
Ishvara, what is Ishvara means? Ishvara is the Brahman, or it's Ishvara or Saguna Brahma one and the same thing. Saguna Brahma. The Brahman with the qualities is called Ishvara. Okay, so now to give you an example, Narayana is Parabrahma, supreme reality, not manifest. Vishnu is the first level of manifestation of Narayana. Right? Vishnu is involved in the creation. Vishnu is Sattva-guna.
Okay, so then Vishnu is like matter, right?
No. Vishnu is not matter. The consciousness gets reflected in Vishnu, the Sattva-guna. Okay, so that being is called Vishnu. From looking from consciousness point of view, there is nothing other than consciousness. From looking from matter point of view, the consciousness, the one who is controlling this universe appeared to be a conscious being. Right? That conscious being A has two components. One is that Sattva Guna and other is consciousness. From looking at this side, from the consciousness point of view, there is nothing else other than consciousness. From our point of view, we see, the consciousness with Sattva Guna is what we call as Vishnu. Okay? Right? Because for our viewing point, our viewpoint is limited by the structures of the delimiting structures. Right? So we say that this is Vishnu because he is Sattva Guna. From the perspective of Narayana or Parabrahma, there is nothing other than that consciousness only. But from the perspective of created or the living beings, the consciousness is delimited by Sattva Guna. It is like when you observe through a window, so what you observe becomes delimited. Our viewpoint is delimited, and from that delimited point, when you observe the Supreme Being, it appears to be Sattva Guna.
So it is more or less like just a placeholder. From Narayana's point of view, nothing is there. So for a seeker, it is just a placeholder.
For a seeker, it appears to be, it's a reality. It's reality, right? It's a consciousness reality. Now, because our mind is limited, because our eyes are limited, senses are limited, whatever we see can be in a limited sense. So, for example, because of that, whenever I say I have a body, mind, and intellect, from body, mind, and intellect, whatever I observe, I see as a limited entity. Right? Even that limited entity is infinite, that I call God, Vishnu, or whatever is it. But then I cannot conceive something which is actually beyond these three qualities of nature, Sattva Guna, Rajo Guna, Tamo Guna. So I am saying God, Narayana, Vishnu is full of Sattva Guna from that perspective. That's because I am identified with body and mind complex. If I am not identified with body mind complex, I am saying that's all this is only Parabrahma, Supreme Reality. Because you identify with body mind complex, when you observe God, whatever is there, God, you say God is also delimited by Sattva Guna. Because of your limitation. Right? That's why, but then to explain to you, okay, how that's delimited? Because then we will say, let us say consciousness is there, then Sattva Guna, Rajo Guna, Tamo Guna is there. Consciousness gets reflected in Sattva Guna. So that Sattva Guna, consciousness reflected in Sattva Guna is called Ishvara. That's what we say from a logical explanation. Because you have to explain that phenomena from the perspective of an individual who is identified with body mind complex. Why?
I'm wondering like why Ishvara? Like why not just consciousness and why like
No, the consciousness, when you say consciousness, actually the word consciousness for the consciousness, the name for the consciousness is the Parabrahma, Supreme Reality. Parabrahma has nothing to do, no relations, no creation, no destruction. Uh, it's all alone, right? But then there is a creation, which is appearance in Parabrahma. The creation is appearing in Parabrahma because of Maya. That's what he say. Like Parabrahma and Maya are related, like fire and the burning nature. So they are related. There's appearance in Parabrahma. Okay, even though if there's appearance in Parabrahma, Parabrahma is not affected by that. Okay, but then Parabrahma identifies with Maya in some way. Okay, for the purpose of creation. It is to give an example which you can understand. Very simple. You have a dream. In the dream, you see so many things: tiger, elephant, all those things you see. Then you start running in the dream. Okay. Now what happened? You appear. There is appearance first, and then there is you start running. So now, where was the tiger? Where is you in that? All is there in the mind. It's appearance in the mind, right? You start running. Is running real, or tiger is real, or elephant is real? It's not real in the ultimate sense. But you started running, right? So what happened? You identified with a part of the dream, and said, "This is me." So in very simple words, Maya is dream of supreme reality, Parabrahma. Okay. In that Maya, there is an appearance. In that appearance, Parabrahma identifies with the part of the appearance and says, "I will control this, what is going on," and that controller is called Ishvara. Like you are controlling a part, you are a part of the dream and say, "This is me" in that dream, and start interact with the dream in some way. Parabrahma interacts with the dream of Parabrahma called Maya as Ishvara. In an ultimate sense, then none of these are real. But in a relative sense, yes, we are seeing the world, we are seeing the creation, there is something running around. Too complex? No? Anything makes sense? What did you say? समझ नहीं है.
So, the aspect of Parabrahma which sees the dream is called Ishvara.
Identifies with the dream is called Ishvara. As against Jiva. The Jiva is what you are, because you are identified with body and mind, because it's a part of the creation that you are identifying. That's called Jiva. Identification of the total creation is called Ishvara. क्या हुआ? कुछ समझ में आया? नहीं आया.
How can God identify himself with the creation?
Why you can't? Why you can't? Why you can't? Creation is for running the show, running the creation.
But he won't identify himself. He just runs the creation.
Yeah, he says, I am running the creation. That's what is identification.
Okay.
Not affected by it, but running it. Running the show.
That is also an identification.
Running the show. As the Lord of the universe. Ishvara.
Like you identify yourself in dreams.
Ishvara means Shiva.
Mm-hmm. The Shiva and Ishvara are not same terms. Ishvara means Lord.
So that is only the consciousness. No?
The consciousness identified with the creation for running the show. When you pray to God, whom are you praying? Are you praying to Parabrahma? Or are you praying to God? The God is who is running the show, is in charge of creation. That is called?
So that consciousness is only the running the show, right?
Yeah, everything is running the show. Everything is consciousness only, running the show.
Ishvara is Vishnu.
Huh.
One more question is, so when they give the analogy of Prajna with Ishvara,
Prajna?
Prajna, Ishvara, so that they say Ishvara is the causal layer, so that means the same thing.
Yeah. Why all these complications? Okay.
Tell some joke.
Huh? Tell some joke. Huh?
Make some K jokes.
That's what Ramakrishna said. You have the mango, now enjoy the mango. Don't worry too much about the chemical structure of mango.
Just become aware who you are and become free from this all this dream. Now this in this dream you can ask hundreds of questions and hundreds of answers I can give.
It doesn't matter.
Huh?
It doesn't matter.
You can say why the Ishvara wanted to do that. Okay. Did Ishvara get married or not? Did he have children? Right? So many questions will come. And where did he get married? On Baroda or some other place? So, was it? Did it? How many people came for the marriage? So many questions can come, and everything will have some logical answer. But none of them are essential.
Why the marriage itself?
Huh?
Why the marriage itself happened?
Why marriage? Why you went for marriage?
Simply.
Simply. So simply.
It's like the Matrix movie. You have to be in the Matrix, but you have to realize that this Matrix is fake.
You have to be. Otherwise, I mean, you can give any n number of questions. You can give you can ask n number of questions. The n number of answers also can be given, but ultimately they're all inherently unsatisfactory because they'll be ultimately they'll all for the question why there's no answer. So all that you have to say is to find out yourself, become free from what is this mind.
That's Gödel's incompleteness theorem, that your current level of reality you can never predict what is going to be next level because you don't have enough tools to judge or gauge what is there. So why do you worry?
Gödel's incompleteness theorem is about artificial intelligence.
Okay.
Alright, what it says is there is no machine created by human being can surpass the human intelligence.
Okay.
That's still it will be incomplete. Okay.
Okay.
It cannot answer one question. It cannot answer the question. Like there is this thing, right? That's what is it? That's Turing's machine is there.
Yeah.
Turing's machine is there. The puzzle the test of artificial intelligence is you have a machine which is giving answers. So if you are not able to distinguish if the answers are coming from a human being or a machine, then you say that's artificial intelligence. So the Gödel's incompleteness theorem puts the limits on that artificial intelligence and says whatever machine you create, still it cannot surpass the intelligence of the creator. They will be still incomplete.
Okay.
In that sense.
Yeah. So in that sense, the machine will never be able to understand the creation.
Yeah.
Creator, sorry.
Creator.
Yeah.
You'll not be able to understand the creator.
Because it has inherent incompleteness.
But at the individual level, you have some kind of mapping, right? At all levels. It's not like you cannot understand, but you have a mapping.
Right.
So that's what I'm wondering. Like Prajna, Ishvara, like what mapping is that? Is it the same thing that like a reflection in the mind? Does that mean
It's similar to reflection in mind, but your mind is your individual mind.
Yeah.
That Ishvara is universal mind.
Yeah.
That's old.
Old.
Yeah.
The machine can't understand the creator, but we can understand the creator, right?
You are also a machine. How can you understand the creator?
One day we should understand. We should realize.
First you understand your husband, first you understand yourself, and then you will understand creator the next day and later. Know yourself, that's all you can do. That's the last thing. To know yourself is the last step. Beyond that you can't know anything.
It's not required.
How can you know somebody else, something else? Have you known yourself? No. Then why you know? Why worry about creator? Know yourself. That is the last step.